Hi, welcome to One Piece Podcast, episode 12. We're going to be breaking down a little bit of the stuff that just happened over this past weekend with One Piece Day. So we're going to be discussing that, the new cards, plus OP12, first time we get ranked data from it. So this week will be a small crew. It's just me and DeHapReed this week. How you doing, DeHapReed?
I'm doing good. Definitely, feeling similar to you, I think, in that a little disappointed that no ban list this week, but still a bunch of really cool new cards. And I've been having a decent amount of fun testing on OP12. I have a new rule. If I see blue, purple Luffy, I just insta concede and save my sanity. But doing that, I have actually managed to have a lot of fun on the ranked ladder. So I'm sure we'll talk about that as well.
Yeah, so it was a little tricky getting this podcast together, just because I was in the hospital all weekend for the new baby, and Steven's doing something really important, I assume. We just need to get through this one. Next week, hopefully, we'll have the full podcast group back. So let's go ahead and dive into the meta. So first week, looking at OP12. Of course, this is barely under 10, so it's not at 10. But how you feeling about Blue Purple Luffy?
Like I said, I'm feeling like blue purple Luffy makes me hate the game in a way that like I don't know if any other deck previously kind of has. Like Sakazuki I used to get really frustrated with as well, but like there were some decks that I could play that felt like I actually had a decent Sakazuki matchup. Obviously, if they saw the nuts, they would still win, and often it was like more of Gecko Moria that was the problem for me than Sakazuki as a leader. But Blue Purple Luffy is just like it's the leader straight up. And even the games where I'm supposed to win or whatever, if they God draw, it's just like there's nothing you could do. And the God draw is just like way easier to assemble because it's not just one card or whatever. And it's just so much easier to assemble a God draw if you're looking at the top 5 cards of your library every turn. And it's just miserable sitting there watching your opponent plan your inevitable death.
Yeah, I
But
agree. It's just kind of really an annoying deck in general. I mean, it's too easy to pilot for one.
yeah,
It's good to have decks, I guess, like that, where it's easy to pilot, but it shouldn't have that high of a win rate, even if you're a newbie.
yeah,
Um, uh, but Zoro's clocking in with a rating just below Luffy, not too far off, only 0.05% difference.
yeah.
Um, so what do you think is going to happen? I mean, if Luffy gets
I
banned
think
and Zoro's
like
left unchecked?
Zoro is definitely really strong, but like Zoro is both. I think these Zoro numbers are definitely inflated because Zoro kind of has like a perfect storm of it's a good leader, it's an extremely popular character, it's good into the best deck in the format, kind of better than most. It's not necessarily winning, but you can win, and it's really really good against almost all of the blue purple Luffy hate decks. So it like steamrolls Buggy, absolutely destroys Bello Betty, right? And so it's a deck that I think even if blue purple was banned, like if they had confirmed blue purple banned this weekend, like Zoro just changes the rules of the whole format by itself, where like we used to be like, oh, in the black yellow Luffy meta or whatever, it was like, oh, you can't really play too many small characters because you need big guys to punch through their 9K leader, and that was kind of like the rule of the format. And Zoro just like institutes the new rule of the format, and the new rule of the format is like three, four, 3 and 4 drops like suck, and playing anything with less than 6K power is very tough. And a lot of 5 drops can also get really punished by Tashigi. And I think Tashigi really is like the main big prime offender. Tashigi is a card that just like ramps up your aggro so much in terms of like being a good attacking body, clearing your opponent's best body, and also getting an 8K swing face with your leader. And I think the Zoro decks are getting to a really streamlined place where a lot of them are even cutting copies of Hody Jones entirely and just trying to be as like resilient as possible with a bunch of blockers and 2Ks. Because you kind of know with the Zoro deck of like, if you can just stay alive long enough, you're probably going to be able to overwhelm them with just leader swing, leader swing, leader swing, leader swing, leader swing. And so Hody Jones sometimes just isn't good in that keep you alive plan. But as a best deck in the format, Zoro is just so much more reasonable than blue, purple, Luffy. Because Zoro kind of says like, don't play 3, 4, and 5 drops unless they're really, really good. And blue, purple, Luffy says, you know, don't play the game past 10 Dawn.
And it makes sense, I guess, why the two yellow decks are here now. They weren't a part of the meta for quite some time. And it looks like both of them have a really good Zoro matchup. Mm-hmm. So I guess Zoro existing allows yellow to exist, which is always a net positive in general. And for the most part, the top two decks typically right now are losing to Rayleigh. Both of them kind of... Actually, it's closer with blue, purple, Luffy. Barely under 50% win rate against Silver Rayleigh, so it's, I guess, more of whoever gets their preferred sequence and orders.
Yeah.
But against Zoro, Rayleigh seems to be really good against it.
Yeah, it's just like I said, 3, 4, and 5 drops kind of suck, but Rayleigh is a deck of 1s and 2s. So if you just spam a bunch of 1s and 2s, that is kind of tough for the green Zoro deck to deal with. Which is why there might be a bit of a resurgence of like red Zoro, because that's also not bad against the green Zoro deck. You just poke them down to death. And yeah, the yellow life gain effects just are very strong against Zoro, because against the Zoro deck, blockers are fake. So you can't be at 0 and have blockers. That's not real. Either, you know, the blocker just gets eaten for free by Zoro leader effect, and then they still get to attack again. Or they just dead man's game you, or maybe Hody Jones, or they just, you know, I'm invincible, Luffy will be the pirate king, unblockable, yada, 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 yada.
So I guess the question is, so what is Zoro's matchup into black decks? Because, I mean, if Luffy gets banned, which hopefully it does, will Lucci be able to make a resurgence if it's not good into Zoro? Because Zoro seems like, isn't it more of a go tall with your leader than it actually is going wide with the actual threats on board? So like them having those 1-for-1 removal spells aren't really are they that effective against Zoro?
Yeah, definitely that's true to some degree of like the Zoro can kind of just try and ignore the board and push face a bunch of times. But the Lucci deck can put enough blockers in front to really make it a bad idea. And then the big thing there is really Mancherry, right? Like Mancherry and Lucci can really, really hard carry the matchup versus Zoro because they really don't want to take time off attacking your face to attack this Mancherry. But if they don't, then every turn you're just going to get back a Rebecca, buy back a 2K, and then just do that over and over and over again, right? And like that is a decent way to win the matchup there. And more black, like funnily enough, I think all black decks can get a decent matchup against Zoro. They just have to start playing copies of Black Vortex because there are very clear like anti-Zoro cards that already exist in the format. The main like cards are like any yellow life gain card, really good against Zoro. Any life gain card, period, really good against Zoro. And then the other two are like Black Vortex, which is really strong against Zoro, -4 to the leader for the whole turn, and turn off leader effect. So they can't untap their leader. And even if they do untap their leader, it's still -4. And then the other card that's really, really good, and I feel like there's another version of this that I don't know that I'm forgetting, but there's a green Arlong. There's like an old green East Blue Arlong, and it's like it's on play, discard a card, and one of your opponent's rested leaders can't attack next turn. Mm-hmm. And that also just like hard counters the whole Zoro leader effect. So
Yeah, because I'm sitting here thinking, so like, okay, so if Blue Purple Luffy goes, it looks like Black might struggle with this. Like Grape Luffy also looks like it's kind of mid. If Blue Purple Luffy leaves, Grape loses one of his good matchups. I don't think Blackbeard can stand up post this either. Because Zoro's it's bad into Zoro, it's bad into Grape Luffy, it's bad into Buggy, it's bad into Smoker and Rayleigh. So that's what I'm thinking. Can Grape and Blackbeard stick up? Like they might have to alter their decks a little bit to adjust, but if I think the hole that Luffy is creating allows those two to exist right now.
I don't know. I think that Grape gets a little bit better because it's like, honestly, it was worse against all the decks that were good against Blue Purple than it was good against Blue Purple, if that makes sense, right? Like, Grape Luffy not really having to worry about Bello Betty anymore is like a big boon, but then you like kind of have to worry about Zoro, I guess. But
And Rayleigh. I mean,
yeah,
Battle Betty's just getting replaced by Rayleigh. So
yeah. The Zoro matchup can be winnable, I think. I guess it's a little tough. I think GP Luffy's still going to be pretty decent. It's still just like fast enough to get over the hill,
I think
and the like 7K bodies are pretty good. But
it would have to make
yeah,
some adjustments.
I think GP Luffy will be sitting on the sideline a little bit until Premium Booster 2. And then when Premium Booster 2 comes back, I think it's going to rocket back up.
And even I think even OP13 had something for it, didn't it?
Yeah, there's a bunch of OP13 cards that you can play in the deck as well. But Premium Booster is the really, really big upgrades where you get a really good 2K blocker. You get another searcher that actually has counter. And you get the 4/5 that keeps one of their Dawn frozen.
Yeah, because I was just thinking, well, what are the side effects of Blue Purple leaving, and what decks get affected the most? And it looks like it's just these two. Like Blackbeard, I don't know if Blackbeard could withstand it. And I guess not even withstanding it right now.
Yeah.
Because if you unlock it, I mean, it's bad into Zoro. It might be that Bonnie comes back and Shanks comes back, which gives
Definitely.
Blackbeard a little bit more of an advantage.
Bonnie
Um,
gets a huge buff from No More Blue Purple, and Shanks a minor one as well. Shanks also, I think you kind of have to wait a little bit until Premium Booster 2 because you get the Lucky Roo and the new law, the new Punk Hazard law. But there's still something there with like the 4/6 giving minus, and just in general, like shrinking Zoro's leader is going to be good, right? Like minus for the turn is just good in general. So, I mean, I think the biggest losers from OP12 being released are Bello Betty and Buggy. Because like Buggy is so bad into Zoro. That's like the big downside.
where's Buggy over here? I guess he's not on
It's
top
only on the
current.
top.
Yeah. So
But Buggy against Zoro is like, but it says Zoro has like an 80% win rate or something like that. Zoro's the second one, the green Zoro.
yeah, I'm looking at it. So top five, he's three. He's 2 for 3. Top five.
I mean,
Um,
yeah, it's like you can do pretty good against Rayleigh.
yeah, Rayleigh. Betty's gonna be gone. Probably maybe increase the percentage of Rayleighs.
But
Once they
yeah,
get
the fact that
comfortable.
you're so bad against Zoro is really a downside.
Yeah, so I feel like the saving grace, at least for Blackbeard, has to be that if Yellow cause makes a resurgence, and again, it's not that great into Kid, but Enel is like a buy, kind of.
Yeah.
So like you need Yellow and Green to make a huge resurgence. That's not Zoro, and probably Black too, Lucci. So I mean, I guess there could be a world where Blackbeard's still stable, but
Yeah.
it would have
I
to
think
be.
Blackbeard's always going to be somewhat decent. And like you said, it's really going to help. it farms certain matchups that are like the decks that are going to try and beat Zoro by being bigger and slower or whatever, right? Like you said, the Anels, the Shankses, the Bonnies, those types of decks are what Blackbeard is going to try and be good against.
Yeah,
But yeah,
it's just weird how few bad matchups Zoro has. You have
I mean,
Luffy, Rayleigh, and then you have Kid.
and
So
Anel.
it doesn't show it now. Uh,
Yeah, it's at the
it's right down
bottom
here.
there.
It's
Because
right
like not every leader that's on the top row is the same as on the bottom row. They're like different, which is confusing sometimes.
Yeah, this is based off. I'm assuming they faced it a lot, but maybe they just didn't win. So Shanks, why Shanks has such a poor record on the side. See, it was played a lot, but it just never won. Which it
Yeah,
must have a very low rating.
was beating Smoker, beating Rayleigh, beating Bonnie. Yeah, that makes sense. Too slow against a lot of the other decks.
And then every deck looks like it's beating Oil Luffy. People keep trying to make it work.
Yeah. I don't know if that's people still playing the wrong deck or whatever. I think it's a deck that'll come up. It's still been doing well pretty consistently in Japan, especially with the new premium booster coming out. That's like another big deck that gets buffed by it. Like the Searcher is really big. And yeah, I think the only way to win with Purple Black Luffy is to have 4 copies of Black Vortex in your deck.
And maybe that's what Blackbeard has to do. Is it has to adjust its removal package.
For
Um,
sure.
Now that maybe now that Blue Purple Luffy's gone, maybe it can now play Black Vortex. I haven't really tried it in Blackbeard. It is searchable, so it does work with
Yeah.
that, with the stage and stuff. So that is pretty
There's
interesting.
definitely a chance where you're like not on 4 copies of 10 drop Blackbeard anymore.
Sunless are playing 3.
Yeah.
So I mean, 3 to 4 is usually where it's at. But it could definitely go down to 3, and then you just play
Play more
maybe.
Black Vortexes.
And we also don't know, I guess, how good Blackbeard would be post BRBO2 when it gets the new um,
Yeah, the new Shiryu.
Shiryu. Yeah, I don't know how good Shiryu is. It's base 3 or less.
It's base 4 or less, but still, this is a metagame of mostly 5s. Like I said, 5 is like the sweet spot where you're actually playing a card that's good and not likely to die to Zoro. Because Zoro is most of the time going to be attacking for 8. So all of the good characters are either 7,000 power or like way less, like small. So like the best characters are 7K and up, so that when they attack your 7K body for 8, you can save it with 2K. But yeah,
But
I think the meta is really interesting because there's a lot of decks that are good that are not even on here, right? Like, and I think this deck isn't like hasn't been properly adjusted either. There's still a lot of people playing like old leaders or whatever, like that. Like they've changed the cards that are legal, but a lot of people haven't changed their decks yet from what they're just playing in paper. So I think it's not totally updated yet, but there's still like Yellow Green Law, which is a pretty good deck. Blue Yellow Nami a little bit less so, but there's so many rogue options that I think get a lot more viable with OP12. And I think Red Green Smoker is really scary as well. I think once people start playing that deck more and realize how good it is, I think it's going to start creeping up from 10th place. But
yeah, and we'll definitely get more into this post the ban announcement. Once we get the ban announcement, we'll talk about the bans themselves, and then we will try to do a top 10 what we think this will be after the bannings. And then we'll get really into why we think certain decks are just going to skyrocket and be really good, and what decks are going to fall. Of course, I would assume Bella Betty's going to probably not even be on the top 10 next week.
yeah,
It's just going to keep going down.
there's no reason to play Bello Betty instead of Rayleigh. Rayleigh's just so much more consistent with more tools, and it doesn't require you to just be a glass cannon.
Yeah, so let's go ahead and talk about the new cards. So
Hell yeah.
late last night, yeah, we they did the 1 day, and we got some spicy cards, all mainly with MU.
Yeah.
I I guess there's some other
Emu and the
cards.
secret rares all got revealed, which is pretty nice.
Yeah.
And it's weird because it's a set with 3 secret rares. So the Sabo already got spoiled. The blocker that like gives Arrested Dawn and gives something +2 cost. But now we have the other 2 brothers, and all 3 of them are 6 cost, 7,000 power secret rares.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we'll start with the green Monkey D Luffy.
I was gonna start with Ace because I'm
Oh,
moving.
Ace.
I'm scrolling
Sure, you can read
upwards.
the Ace and then I'll read the Luffy.
So Ace, it's if you have 3 or less life, this character gains Rush. On play, you could give up to one of your rested Dawn to your leader. Afterwards, and return up to one of your opponent's character with the cost of 5 or less to its hand. If you do, your opponent may cheat down basically a 4 drop or less from their hand. So really, you would really want to do this, play this bounce a 5 drop, which, like he stated, most part 5 drop is where the money, the bread and butter is. So like you probably might be okay if they pick up a,
Yeah.
but then again, don't bounce to Shigi. That would be
Yeah,
the
not worth bouncing to Shigi, but you could bounce Cavendish, Carrot, Smoker, the 5/7 Smoker,
yeah. Smoker seems good.
whatever 4 drop the yellow kid deck is playing or whatever. It's a really interesting card where you're like shrinking one of their characters kind of, but you got to be a little scared of maybe some 4 cost like blocker they could put down or 4 cost on play effect they might have. But it's a really unique effect in general, I think, of
Am I weird? I think this card should have had a 1K counter.
yeah, I think if it did, it wouldn't have been that crazy, but I think they're trying to make them all uniform where all of them are 6/7
No
secret
counter.
rares without counter.
I just
This is
don't.
the one where I'm not sure if it actually sees play.
Yeah, I just think it's just one step too small, and it's just not worth it. I could be wrong, but
If it was 6/7 rush, just straight up bounce a 5 cost, it would be insane, right? Because like Jozu is already a really strong card, and that's like 6/7 bounce one of your guys, bounce one of their guys. But the fact that they get to play something down is a little awkward. And it's not like it's rested. If it put it down rested, then I'd be like, oh, okay, we can attack into it, or they can't just put a blocker down. But the
yeah,
fact that they could sometimes just put a blocker down for free feels a little weird.
yeah, that actually would have been a pretty good. I think made it probably just right if they could return it, and then you basically would have fought 4 or less rested. That actually would have been, I
Yeah.
think, a fair way of making this card if you're not going to put a counter on it. But as
Yeah.
is, I mean,
Or
I think it either had to have been like a Jozu where, it comes down, you bounce a 5 or less, then you bounce a 1 or 2 drop,
yeah.
then I think that would have been okay.
Yeah.
Because then you just bounce your searcher and then you just kind of swing into their tapped rested character, and that would have been pretty reasonable. But as is, I'm not sure.
And if you don't bounce exactly a 5 cost, it could potentially not do that much, right? Like it's
It,
good if you bounce a 5 and then they don't really have a 4 to put down and they have to put down a 2 or a 1 or something. But it doesn't work for anything cheaper than that, right? Like if you try and bounce a 3 or a 4, they just put it right back down.
mm-hmm.
So I feel like
And
it
you're
would have had
active.
to either put it down rested or it would have had to been like exactly a 4 cost. But the fact that they can play a 4 cost or less means they're almost guaranteed to put something down.
Yeah, I just can't imagine it working if you do anything less than a 5. Because you bounce it, they just put it back down. But
Yeah.
not rested, active, which it could have been rested because it attacked. And you play this, it's like you kind of just undid their rests in a way. It's like I'm not
Yeah.
sold on this card.
No, I'm not a big fan either.
You want to
But
talk about Luffy?
yeah, the Luffy does seem interesting. So this one's 6/7. Fishman Island. Interesting. I didn't know that. So you could play this in Shirahoshi too and search it up with whatever Fishman Island searchers or Jimbei. That's funny. But not Jimbei, I guess, because it's so 6/7 double strike, double attack. On play, if your leader is multicolored, set up to 4 of your Dawn as active. Then you may not play characters with an original cost of 5 or greater for the rest of the turn. Now, the big thing that everybody's been saying instantly is that this is free in Smoker. If you're on 6 Dawn, you just play this, and then you untap 6, and then boom. You just play it as 0 cost 7k double attack. But yeah, I mean, I think that's good, but I'm not entirely sure, right? Like, if they kill this, it's rough, but it does present a lot of threat, like a huge threat. We've never had a double attacker this cheap.
I'm just trying to think like what other decks could utilize this other than red, green, Luffy, and Smoker. How many good multicolored green leaders is there? You're not going to play in a Rosazante, right? Because that would be kind of weird.
Oh, but you could actually, you couldn't play this in Rosinante, but you could play this in Zoro Sanji, because Zoro Sanji can only tap a character that's 7,000 power or less. So you could actually untap your double striker and attack with it twice. That seems pretty good. Okay. So it's like Zoro Sanji, Smoker, the red green Luffy, obviously.
Yeah, red green Luffy.
Yamato, maybe.
I'm trying to think what ones are available. Like Perona is technically valid, but
I probably doesn't want it. But
Perona.
Yamato might want more double attackers.
And there's not really a kid.
Yeah, there's no multicolor supernova leader. You could play it in yellow-green Law as well.
That's what I meant. That's what I meant. Law. That's what I meant. Did I say kid?
Yeah. Law does have a supernova searcher. Yup.
Yeah, that's what I meant because they play beige Capone, which you could save this.
Yup. You can't play it out for free, but you can protect it with your Capones and use it to, like, you could play this on top of your Dawn and then still use your leader effect to put out something else.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I think that actually wouldn't be that bad, right? Because, I mean, you get to untap 4 Dawn.
Mm-hmm.
And you should be able to do most things with Law after.
Yeah, and it is still a supernova that you can, like, add to your life with the 7/9 or search up in general. I like the card. I'm not sure exactly how it's going to play out, but it is an aggressive threat. And just like the idea of playing this and then being able to, like, play it to Shigi right away to help defend it, that by itself seems a little scary. Or like you said, the Capone blocker.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think. Like, it's really, off the top of my head, I guess I should have done a little more research on what multicolored green leaders there are, because off the top of my head, I'm like drawing a blank of how many, because like there is.
I think we talked about most of them. There's not that many that would care about it, right? It's like the Luffy, Smoker, Zoro Sanji, GP Luffy is another one, I guess. You could play this in green, purple Luffy. It's pretty good there too, honestly.
So does Sir Hoshi, does it allow you to cheat down a Fishman Island?
No, it's only a Sea King.
Okay, yeah. I mean, it makes sense that
but there is a Fishman Island searcher.
Cammy, yeah, I can find it. Right? It's Cammy. Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that Luffy is the best of the 3, but at the same time, like, it's... What do you play it in? Strong.
Yeah. Smoker is the first place to put it usually, but there's not a lot of room for non-searchables in that deck, so maybe you could try a different version.
Unless they did there's a red-green supernova.
Yeah.
But this, if you could get this is one of those cards that might be just cheap because there's no place to really play it competitively as much. I would probably pick it up if it's cheap.
I would still think that, like, this card's going to be scary in green, purple Luffy and Smoker. Like, those would be my main starts. And, like, green, purple Luffy is starting to get really a high amount of, like, really good Straw Hat characters that you can consistently just dump onto the field.
Yeah, so I guess we need to think that through. So you play this down, you untap 4. I don't think it...
Oh, I guess you can't play Sanji Pudding after you play this, which it does hurt.
You would have to play something Zoro Juro.
Yeah, that would be really good, though.
That gets a purple card, though,
Luffy on tap 4 plays Zoro Juro. That sounds hella good.
Yeah, it's kind of like a new version of using your Luffy Taro into this.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe would you just cut Luffy Taro?
Maybe.
Because this is
That is
one Don
reasonable.
cheaper and has double strike, double attack.
Mm-hmm.
That could be the valid option, and it's kind of going a little bit more to the lower to the ground. I mean, you're not losing anything because you're not really cutting a counter card for a non-counter card. They're both are counterless, so
Yeah.
maybe
But
you
the
do.
double strike is a very real aggressive threat for sure. All right. But I think we've talked about this card enough.
Now we're on
I guess now
Emu.
it's Emu and 5 Elder time.
All right, so Emu, per rules of the game, you may not play cost 2 or greater events in your deck. Also, at the beginning of the game, you may search up to one Holy Land Mary Goose type stage from your deck. I totally butchered that name, didn't I? Yes. Activate main. Once returned, you may trash one of your Celestial Dragons type characters from play or from your hand and draw a card.
Yeah, you can trash a Celestial Dragon from play or any card in your hand. So it's basically like the Sakazuki effect of discard one, draw a card. But occasionally it has the upside of you can sacrifice a character to draw a card. And that's actually like better than I first thought about it when I was thinking about it, where it's just like if you just play like your 3/5 searcher, because there is like a searcher, and then you just like attack for 5 and then you're like, oh, well, I'm playing against Zoro. The Zoro is probably just going to attack into my guy anyway and kill it. So I might as well just kill it myself and draw a card. And like, I think that actually is pretty nice. And it helps make up for the fact that you're a 4 life leader. 4 life leader is very sketch, though, for sure. 4 life leader will be really rough. But definitely, like, you should be sacrificing characters to draw a card probably way more often than you think. Because if you sack a character, then you're actually up a real straight card in hand, not just like discard a card, draw one.
Yeah, also being assuming that, of course, like if it's something like where's that one drop, the one drop searcher.
Yeah.
Yeah, you just play it, find something, and then you just pitch it, draw.
Yep.
So like literally, you're basically up 2 cards. You played a one drop
No,
search.
it's they
You're up
made
one
it where
card.
you're not up 2 cards because the Celestial Dragon Searcher also forces you to discard a card.
What? Why?
Because they didn't want you to have a 1-drop that draws 2.
Hmm.
Yeah, the Celestial Dragon 1-drop Searcher, it's look at the top 3, add 1 to your hand, and then discard a card and trash the rest.
Okay. I mean, I get this card. This archetype does care about graveyard a lot, like Blackbeard. So I can understand why they would want that trash effect, which normally would be a downside, but for this deck might be an upside.
Yeah. Starting the game with the Mary Joie in play is really, really interesting too, where the idea of like you're trading 1 life to start the game with a card in play. And there's a second Mary Joie because it's a Mary Joie type stage. It's not Mary Joie with the name because Mary Joie is also a type at the bottom. And this is the main one that I feel like everybody's going to start the game with. Because this is a 1-drop stage that makes all your Celestial Dragons cost 1 less in your hand. Or the ones that cost 2 or more, they cost 1 less. So you don't get to play your Searcher for free. But getting a 1-cost discount on all these characters is pretty sweet.
Yeah, that would make this look a lot better. I mean, a 6-drop for a 5K attacker is kind of bad. But if it's a 5-drop at 5,000 attacker, then it's kind of pretty reasonable.
This one's very similar to the Black Sanji that was in the starter deck. So this is Saint Marcus Mars, 6/5 with counter, Elder Star, Celestial Dragon. If your trash is 7 or more, this character cannot leave play by your opponent's effect and gains blocker. Pretty sweet. And then on play, you may trash a card, KO up to one of your opponent's characters with an original cost of 5 or less. Really, really big there. Original cost. So you can KO any of the like Revolutionary Army cards. I saw someone KO like the 4-drop Reiju that the Sanji deck plays. That's normally a 9 cost, but its base cost is 4. So there's a bunch of stuff you can destroy with this, but it means no cost reduction available to you.
Yeah, so I mean, it's a pretty okay effect. I mean, you do have to trash a card. Sanji, I don't think you had to trash a card, but you did have to make another requirement of having a cost 6 or more.
Yeah.
So you could argue which was better. And this might be better, just because you're trying to get to 10 and probably stack your 10 drop to get all your fives K
Yep.
attackers back. Which sadly none of these have rush. I guess there might be some up above.
One of them has rush, yeah, but this, I mean, definitely this is like all of them, like for to some degree, but this was one that's like a really big deal to play this for 5 instead of 6, right? But I guess it doesn't matter as much actually now that I think about it, because if you go second, you can still play this on 6 to destroy their 5, which will be pretty good. But this is the main removal thing.
And then we have Jake Garcia?
Mm-hmm.
Saturn. Okay, I got it right. I'm usually bad at
Nice.
pronouncing. 7 or more. This basically in trash just can't be removed by your opponent's effects. They all, I think, have that aligned. I'm
Yep.
pretty sure. And then this is your two-year searcher. Basically, you look top 5, reveal up to 1, 5 Elder Stars type, and add to your hand. Sadly, this one does not put the rest in the trash. Probably be
Yeah,
too
that would
good
be
if
too
it
good.
did. But for rare, but I think it's a good card, especially if you start with the other thing. It's a 3 drop for 5K,
Yes.
which is actually kind of bonkers, but
Yeah, I mean they've had 3/5 searchers before, right? Like the main one is the Vegapunk one, but it is definitely something they've done before. But it's a nice stat line, and this is probably the main one that you're going to be like sacrificing to draw a card, right? Like in a perfect world, you play this on your 3 Dawn turn, you draw a card, and then the following turn you attack with it, and then just sacrifice it because it's a 5K body and draw a card.
yeah. I mean, there's no point of just passing the turn with it into tapped, being rested if your opponent's just going to attack into it. So,
Yeah,
unless you get
exactly.
extra advantage. Then we have Saint Topman War Curry.
Yeah.
If you have 7 or more, again, it can't be affected by your opponent's effects, and gains blocker on KO. Draw a card. So this works double time with your ability because you trash it. Nope, nope, that's not
No,
KO.
yeah, it doesn't get KO'd. You trash it straight up. So you don't get to draw 2 with it. So this is one you're probably not going to sacrifice, but it's a really nice, like, cheap blocker, right? This is one where it'll be really good to, like, play this on your 3 Dawn turn and then either attack with it and let them attack it back into it. Or, at the first couple of turns, you'll be able to attack with it and they won't want to attack into it and let you draw. And then eventually you'll just be able to block with it and draw that card whenever you want once it gains blocker. Yeah, this is like a underwhelming one kind of, but it's just like a nice little consistency piece. And I think blocker on KO draw card is just a nice effect.
Yeah, we seem to be quite great with Sanchi. So like it, for the most part, we know the effect's pretty good. And also, I mean, even Blackbeard has their 2 cards that have it, and it's always great to play them first.
Yeah.
They when you use their ability and they just attack into it, you draw a card. You're not really upset by it.
Yeah, it's nice.
Saint Shepherd Jew or Jew Peter.
Jupiter. They
Um,
split up Jupiter. So this is a 7 cost 5K, and this is the 2K of
group.
the 5 Elder Stars. It's 2,000 counter actually. So if your trash is 7 or more, it can't leave play by opponent's effects. And then during your turn, if your trash is 10 or more, give all of your 5 Elder Stars type character base power 7,000. So they all start out as 5,000 power, but once you hit the benchmark and get this into play, they all become 7K power. And of course, 7K power is like the magical number of attacking really good at 5K and also being good on defense against Zoro. So it'll take a little bit longer to get to 10 cards in play, but it should totally be possible to get 10 cards in your graveyard by the time you play this for 7. And of course, playing it for 6 is just upside.
Yeah, I mean, especially since if you are facing, of course, a lot of leaders are 5K. Being 7 means you're going to get 2 counters out of their hand most of the time. So that's pretty good. Um,
Yeah, and it's base power too, which is important for some certain cards, but
very few. It's more base
yeah.
cost is usually what gets you. Base power. We don't really have that many that are. I guess technically the bad Beckman counts base power.
Yeah, the Ben Beckman is one of the main one that cares about like base power, and like Lucky Roo is the other one.
So there is a few situations where that matters. But here's the other Holy Land, Mary. 7 drop. I am kind of sad. I guess I have to talk about the card up higher, but so that if it's your turn, you have 19 or more cards in your yard. You get plus 1,000 power to your leader, so it's 6k leader, and then you may activate this and 3 of your Dawn from your hand. You may from your hand play a black Elder Stars type character that has equal to less than the total number of Dawn on your field. Play it for free. I guess technically for 3 Dawn, right?
Yeah.
3 Dawn, you get to play any of your guys down here, so you could play Peter for 3, which is actually not too shabby. I think yeah, you're right. You're probably going to end up playing 1 or 2 copies of this one, and then probably a few copies of the other one. Depending on the matchup, it's nice to be able to know which one you want in that matchup. Because if it's a
Yeah,
grindy matchup, you probably want to get this one.
yeah, exactly.
If it's an aggro matchup, you probably want the other one. So if you're facing Rayleigh, you're probably going to pick the other stage, so you can get your threats on board quicker.
Mm-hmm.
So I like that flexibility, and it kind of makes up, I guess, for having one less life.
Yeah, I mean, I think starting the game with something in play is a very, very strong effect. It's like been really strong. It's like it's not quite the same thing, but you gotta kind of think about it as companion almost, right? Where like
Hmm.
they really should have made it so that if you have a companion, you start with one less card in hand or something, right? And that's kind of what this does. It's trying to make companion a little bit more balanced if you remember Magic the Gathering stuff. But I do think this is one, like you said, it'll be really good in grindy matchups and not so good in other places. But 19 is way more than you think. That's the one thing I want to say.
That's
Like
about
getting to 7 is not that hard because you could mill some cards and use your leader, and getting to 10 is not that big of a difference, but the difference between 10 and 19 is way bigger than even like the difference between 0 and 10, just because like in the later game you're going to have cycled a whole bunch already, so you're going to have all good cards in hand, so you aren't going to necessarily want to keep cycling all the time, and there's only so many mill cards in your deck. So every one you draw decreases the chance of you drawing another one, right? So
I guess
I'm just really thinking that the 19 cards isn't going to happen nearly as often as people think. I don't think you can get 19 cards in your trash every game.
I think it'd be very situational, right? Because I mean, you're probably going to hit it, and then sometimes you're just going to deplete 5 of them out, because you are putting your Saints into your graveyard. Then using the 10 drop, get them all back. So you -4 cards in the yard. So I
Yeah,
guess
exactly.
I mean, so you're gonna have to pick that power shift, and basically, I mean, you could very well be just be using this for the 2K counter, 1K counters early, and just using this or the 10 drop to get them all back. But I don't know.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
Even like Lucci doesn't reliably get to 19 cards in their graveyard all the time, because I mean they're bottom decking stuff from their graveyard as well, but still, right? Like even the mill 2 cards every turn deck isn't going to get to 19 or 20 cards like that frequently, or that especially not early, right? Like there's zero chance you get to 19 cards in your yard before you hit 10 Dawn. So you're going to only do it after you've been at 10 Dawn for at least a turn or two. So I
Yeah,
think it's not that good.
yeah. 'Cause I would say isn't it like a little bit over 40% of your deck is in your
Yeah.
yard at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you start with 50, half is 25, so It's 5 cards
Yeah,
plus.
and you have 4 life cards and your stage that starts in play. So you're starting the game with only 45 cards that could go in the trash. So yeah.
Yeah, so you're right. Yeah, so it's closer to half then. Yeah. So that's going to be pretty unrealistic to turn this on most of
Yeah.
the time. Unless you get some hardcore self-milling cards, but
Yeah. So you really want this in the very grindy matchups. All right, we got to find the last elder and then the 10 of them or the 10 drop.
right here. 5 Elder Stars, 10 cost, 12k. It has, of course, 5 Elder Stars, Celestial Dragon. If your leader is an Imu, you may rest one of your Dawn, trash one card from your hand, trash all of your characters, and then play from your trash up to 5 Elder type star characters with 5,000 with different names. So this card is a little interesting. It seems like this would be. I like the way it's designed to kind of get around um, Blackbeard. So
Yeah.
it's kind of interesting. This deck actually is, I think, functioning on a different axis for the most part because there's no ETBs here. I don't think, except for this
Just
one.
one.
Yeah, so the most part, this deck looks like it's pretty Blackbeard prone. Um, and you have this ability that which actually is a huge, amazing ability that gets around it as well. So like it, I think it actually just
Yeah, and all your characters are tough to remove as well, so that's another thing that makes it good against Blackbeard.
yeah. So it is a little interesting that they kind of designed this deck to be similar because you're both filling the yard up for black. You care a lot about how many cards you have in your trash, but this has a little bit more of a reanimator feel, I would say, which is
Yeah, it's definitely a bit more combo-y or whatever, and it's like it feels close to Reiju almost, right? In that sense of like you're getting stuff in your graveyard to bring it back later. And they really made it so that like the 5 Elder Stars really doesn't work in any other deck. Because either you need to play it off of the 7 drop stage and then you have Dawn left to activate it, or you need to have the 1 drop stage in play so that this is a 9 cost, right? And then you can play it on 9 and activate it. But I think it's totally reasonable to sometimes just play this and then pass or whatever. Because if you're playing against a deck that doesn't have Red Rock in it, then it's likely that this 10 drop is going to live. And it seems pretty good to be able to like attack with it and then activate it the turn after to fill your board. Because it is 12K, right? So you might as well try and get the 12K swing if you can.
yeah.
So you have the option of cracking it whenever you want, basically, right? Like you could leave it as just a 10-12 or basically a 9-12 with the 1 drop Holy Land. And like that's not bad either, right? I just play a 9 drop 12K, and then whenever I want to crack it for 5 characters, I can.
I forget.
'Cause you
Just trash count as KO?
no.
No, so this doesn't work with that either.
Yeah. But because there are some games where you might not have like all 5 different names in your graveyard by the time you play this. And so having the option of just like leaving it in play for later is pretty sweet.
Yeah, so I mean, you'd be swinging for 12, getting back this, which is not a blocker. You have one,
You'd get
two
2
blockers.
blockers. Yeah, 2 blockers and 1 KO effect potentially. Right, KO of
Yes.
5 or less.
Yeah, and then a little bit of a boost for him. So I
Yeah.
mean,
You'd have 2 7K blockers, which is pretty good,
mm,
and KO a 5 cost or less. And then there's one rest character. We still got to find the last Elder Star. I don't know why they only have 4 of them together.
yeah, that's supposed to be a pyre. That's which I'm assuming is the rush one.
Yeah.
So Divine Departure, uh, 0 drop event. You may trash a card. The counter side, trash 1 card from your hand. You can give up to 1 leader or character plus 3,000 this turn, which is the same as I guess most of the 0 drop events. So works well there. I wonder if this means we're going to start getting more of these kind of cycles where it could target characters too. But and then the main effect is you may rest 5 of your Dawn if you have any given Dawn. Give up to 1 of your opponent's characters minus 8,000. So in reality, this is 6 Dawn affected. So if you do, you're at untapped with 10 full available Dawn. you do have to make sure that you give one of your you have to give one of your dawns to Roger. So what do you think about this card? Like, it doesn't actually KO anything, which is kind of awkward.
Yeah, but it does make it small enough where you're almost guaranteed to attack into it and kill it, right? So if you just have your leader and you attack whatever you shrunk minus 8,000, it's basically dead, right? You could even attack a searcher into it.
Yeah,
So it is removal, and it's nice that I like the idea of making zero cost events that are like have a secondary effect as well. Because the zero cost events are just always good. So I'm down for like making a red zero cost event that like makes something unblockable or, KOs a 4,000 power or less character or something like that.
I wonder if we're gonna get a cycle of this.
Yeah, a cycle of zero cost events. Probably. I don't think they'll all be in one set. They'll probably split them up the way they did with the first zero cost events, but
But yeah, so
it's
like
nice.
it is a little awkward that they made this card at the tail end right before Kid is gonna rotate, which is what this card used to be really arguably great at. You make Kid 8 minus 8,000. You can tack a 1K attacker into the Kid, get rid of it, so you can start
Green one,
tacking.
you mean?
Yeah, the OG 8-drop Kid.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this would have been great long time ago when that was a prominent card, but
Yeah, it's just another like removal option for Roger. Though, like you said, it is awkward that it can't kill anything that's unrested. Basically, you have to pick a rested card to shrink and then attack into.
I guess that
But it's still going to be a zero cost event most of the time, and that's usually what you're going to want.
I'm guessing that's because it's a purple event. Purple is not really all that known to KO things,
Yeah, for sure.
which is one of his weaknesses, which is valid. It should have weaknesses as a color. I mean, if this was a red event, I would think it would probably end up KOing the character if it has zero power or less.
Yeah, but
But
zero power characters survive here. But I
yeah,
think that this card's fine. I mean, you were going to play the zero cost purple event in Roger anyway, most likely. So the fact that you get to play a searchable one is just nice.
and moving on, so we have 3 cards for elders. So first of all, I think it's the one. Yeah, this is the card that I'm kind of like.
The one of them is just a plain event searcher. It's 5 Elder Stars are here. You just pay 1, look at the top 3, reveal a Celestial Dragon type, and trash the rest.
Yeah, that's the character.
Yeah, and then
never
no,
existed.
that's the event. The character is like look at the top 3, grab a Celestial Dragon, and then you also have to trash one from your hand.
Yeah, so never existed. It's a card that I was like a little bit upset with. So like, would this be too broken if you may rest one of your Dawn if your leader is Imu, K up to one of your opponent's Sage cards? Would that be too broken?
No, nope.
I don't know why they have to restrict this to 7-drop. I think
It's just a flavor thing.
It would have been okay and fine if black was the color that can KO stages.
Agreed.
But they chose not to give them the ability to KO any kind of stage. It's only a 7-drop.
I think this would have been the perfect card too, because having it be a little flexible of like having stage removal be on a flexible card just feels good, right? Because stage removal is so niche, but it is something that we don't have nearly enough of.
Yeah.
So putting it on a card that could do something else, I think, is what they should do going forward. But yeah, I agree. I'm also disappointed that it only kills exactly a 7 cost.
Yeah, that's when I was upset about it. It's basically, it would be a 2-drop KO a stage. I think that would have been fine. Like they should.
I feel like they're going to reveal a 7-drop other stage other than just Empty Throne, so it has more targets to destroy, but mainly it just destroys Empty Throne in the mirror right now, but that's day 1, right? Or day negative whatever.
Yeah. I just think that they missed the mark on this one slightly. I think I would not complain if black is the color that gets this ability just to KO stages.
Yeah.
And then just leave it as that. I think
it'd be really good. It'd be really interesting in a lot of matchups to just have 2 costs destroy a stage. You'd want to do it a lot of the time, even though because you're losing the other half of the card, which is still plenty good, right? Like 1 cost if your leader is Emu, give your leader or a character +4. It's basically just a rad beam with less downside or with no downside really, and like rad beams are really good, man. I don't know if you I feel like it's pretty obvious now with how many people play one Don plus threes. Like one Don plus fours are so good.
Yeah, so it's a good card. I think I don't know if they'll play that many copies of it. I mean, it 100% depends on how, I guess, MU actually see how much of a meta percentage this leader sees play, but
No, I think the first half doesn't matter at all. Like, though, you could treat the first half as basically flavor text. Like, the main is basically literally just flavor text on the card, and it's really just one Don plus 4 counter event, and that's just like a good card. You'll probably play 4 copies of that.
yeah.
It's
So
also searchable.
let's go ahead and move up. So the 8, there's the other 5. It's so small, I can't see it.
Yeah,
Um,
is the horsey further down or further up? Because we're missing one of the elders.
I don't think it's
Oh, it
here.
might have been further down.
I mean, I started at the point where right
Oh, it's
after,
just not here? That's
yeah,
weird.
they didn't include it. Yeah, they only have 4. So, I mean, we'll cover it some other time, I guess. Um, so we have a few more cards to talk about up here, and then we'll get into the closing. So we have Uda, which is on play. Set up 2 of your Dons is active, then you may not play a character with 5 or greater this rest of this turn. On KO, kind of has like a lucky root type effect where you can KO one character with a cost of 5 or less from your hand. You may play up to one character with a cost of 5 or less. Sorry, I thought it was KO. Never mind. Um,
Yeah.
so you could play a 5-drop or less rested, which is pretty fine. What do you think about this card?
Man, there's a lot of random film cards in this set, and I'm like, is Uta coming back? I'm so confused because this card is pretty interesting, right? Like, it's nothing crazy, but I think the combination of the 2 parts of the card help it be good, right? Like, because you want cards that are good against removal. And the fact that when this dies, even against Zoro, you get to, spit something out to replace it. And you already got to play it for cheap and get a good attack in, right? Like on your 4 Dawn turn, you play this and attack for 7. And that's pretty good. Don't know exactly what you can play off of it, but a 4-drop that plays a 5, like I'd assume that on KO it would play a 4 or maybe a 3. But the fact that it plays something bigger than itself is really huge because that means you could cheat out a 5/7 randomly. And I don't know. I like this card.
I mean, Zoro kind of always cheated out something bigger than itself too. So
Yes, the red Zoro.
yeah, so
Yes.
it's not that abnormal. But it looks like a pretty solid card. Then we
Yeah, and
have
that red Zoro is pretty good. It just doesn't have as many good targets right now. But I think there's significantly more good green 5-cost characters than there are good red 5-cost characters right
yeah,
now.
Cavendish, Carrot. The list goes on.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
So
The
we
the
just need to
5/7 Sanji.
let's go ahead and cover up Yamato, and then we need to close it out because
For
I
sure.
have to change the young one's diaper. So
Yeah, do it
Um,
up.
so Yamato, I think it's the last card of really high significance. We can cover Stussy next time. So it's
Sure.
just on play. If you have 3 or less life, draw 2 cards, and you attach 1 Rested Dawn to your leader. Pretty solid effect. Anything to say about this?
Yeah, I mean, the fact that it has counter and no leader lock restrictions at all is really big to me. It's not like one of those that needs a specific leader or a multicolor leader that we've seen a lot of the time, right? It's just 5/6, 3 or less life, draw 2. And I think there's a lot of decks who would want this type of thing, right? Like, there's even a small chance that you could be like, oh, maybe I'll play this in my blue Nami deck, right? When I'm at 3, I just play this, I draw 2, and I get a Dawn to my leader. But there's a lot of blue leaders that this could play in, right? Like Marco is a big one. The blue red ace, obviously, but there's a lot of other ones too. Marco, Zoro Sanji, Nami potentially. Yeah, blue Nami and blue yellow Nami as well. Like, there's a bunch of different places where I think this could go, and it's a nice, neat little card. blue has needed the help, and this is like another good blue card that's generic enough to really help blue as a color. Period.
So would you go ahead and close this out? Because like I said, I need to get going. So um, go ahead and close it out. Wait, what do you guys say to happening?
Yeah, I mean, I think OP13 is going to be really, really interesting. I think it's like some of the most powerful set of leaders we've had in a long time, right? Like we were literally talking about which one do we think is going to be the best and which one do we think is the worst. And it's like kind of hard to tell because they're all really good. And like Blue Red Ace and Bonnie really stick out to me. But the set as a whole seems like it's really strong. There's less leader locked cards than I expected, and it'll probably lead to some really interesting brewing, right? Like the 10 drop 5 elders is restricted, but none of the smaller ones are. So people have already been talking about maybe I can do Blackbeard, but with the elders, or maybe I could do Lucci, but with the elders. And the deck building stuff I think is going to be really interesting. So I'm hyped. I'm still crossing every finger and every toe and blessing every shrine that I can that Blue Purple Luffy gets banned. But outside of that, I think it's looking good. I mean, it was an incredibly hype announcement. People were losing their shit. So
As in for the rest of it, make sure you look in the comment section for the links to all of our guys' channels. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe on this video. Share this podcast around. Next week we'll have hopefully a much better podcast. I'm sorry about it. Like I said, I got to go take care of the new baby. She can't really lift the baby, our 1 year old. So we'll talk to you guys next week.